Hey guys, I am back with another video. I'm back on my webcam here and my trusty mic. I was recording on my phone the last video. I didn't like how it turned out, and it really comes down to the lighting in my room. That's what it's going to be. And my chair, I don't know if you can hear that. Hopefully you can. It's super squeaky. But today, I want to talk about the supposed power gap that everyone is talking about with the Xbox One X, or I'm sorry, the Xbox Series X and the PS5. Here's the thing. The Xbox fanboys are just, we have the power! And they're so excited that their console is more powerful. But it is not going to be a power gap like the Xbox One X to the PS4 Pro. They're going to say that it is, but let's really look at the numbers. So this is what I want to talk about first. PS4 Pro had 4.19 teraflops and 8 gigs of GDDR5. I know we're going back to last gen, but I wanted to make this comparison real quick. The Xbox One X had 6 teraflops of compute performance raw and 12 gigs of GDDR5. So the raw compute and memory of the Xbox One X to the PS4 was roughly 1.5 times. Or in other words, in raw power, the Xbox One X was 50% more powerful than the PS4 Pro. That is a giant number in terms of performance or power gap. But when you look at how it resulted in most games, it mostly meant two things for the gamer. It meant either more stable or higher frame rates, and I'll give it that. In most cases, there were exceptions. And it also meant native 4K instead of upscale 4K. Now, yes, those are good things, and I'm all for native 4K. And the next consoles will definitely have it. There won't be upscaling or a need for it. But I really challenge the average consumer to look at an upscaled 4K image and a native 4K image and tell me where they see the difference. Because it's mostly like the PCMR guys like me and other people I know that are just like pixel pushing like crazy people that want to see the best, that can kind of see a difference. And it really just results in a soft 4K image versus a really crisp 4K image. But if you play God of War or Horizon Zero Dawn in 4K, you'll know for a fact that it's a very, very good, or they're very good looking games, even with soft 4K. Now, the advantage of having that compute, if they did upscale to 4K and like ran a lower or a variable refresh or a variable resolution, some games could run at 60 frames per second that I don't believe could on the PS4 Pro. I don't know of any off the top of my head, but that was the kind of difference between the two, was that 50%, and it resulted in better frame rates and better native resolution in general. Now, let's talk about the Xbox Series X and the PS5. Everyone's talking about Xbox Series X, 120 frames per second at 4K. Maybe. I don't know. It's got twice the processing power, raw compute of the Xbox One X. That might be possible. I don't know until I see it. That being said, I don't know a lot of 120 hertz displays that you'd actually run 120 hertz at 4K that you could do that. But I think 60 frames per second at 4K is definitely achievable and will be really, really nice. But the raw numbers are, you have 12 teraflops of performance on the Xbox Series X, and you have 10.28 teraflops of performance on the PS5. That means that in just the SoC, which is the only place, by the way, point this out, the only place Xbox Series X has an advantage is in the raw compute of the SoC. And people are going to say that matters the most. Now, I don't think so, but it's not the only thing that matters. That's a misnomer. So it's only 1.17 times as powerful as a PS5, the Xbox Series X. That means it only has a 17% power differential. It's only 17% more powerful in raw compute, and that's only in compute. The memory has some slight differences in the way they implemented their 16 gigs of GDDR6, but they're both using 16 gigs of GDDR6. And yes, speed matters to some degree in memory, but there's this weird thing that Xbox is doing where 10 gigs is faster than PS5 and 6 gigs is slower. 3 gigs is going to be for OS. We don't know anything about the PS5 memory, and I'm not sure it's going to be very different. So, I don't think there's a big enough difference in memory. That's why I didn't talk about it in my last video about memory. Honestly, the only difference here is the 17% power, extreme power difference. It's a ginormous. Devs are talking about it. Oh my god. Yeah, the Xbox fanboys are going crazy, and I am so sick of seeing devs are talking about how different it is. That's insane. It's not that big. It's 17%, guys. But here's the thing. I/O matters. And I'm going to have a video in the link of in the description of the video, of this video. I'm going to have a link to another video. That video was done by a guy that is a PC guy, not a console guy. And he does a lot of in-depth talking. This video is 44 minutes long. But what he eventually gets to is he doesn't see the consoles being very different until it comes to I/O and until it comes to the SSD of the PS5. And he talks about how the future of computing is in the SoC and the way that Sony is making their I/O. And Sony is not just making a better SSD, it's the input and output of the SSD and the storage that makes the difference. In this case, it's the input and the output of what he calls an accelerator, but basically the controller that takes the input and takes the output. And it's got two of them. And he compares it to an iPhone. And I have a friend that's been talking about this for a long time. He's been talking about Sony's kind of like Apple. They don't necessarily have the raw power, but they get a lot out of it. They're very efficient about getting a lot out of it. And that's kind of true in this case, because what they're doing is they're adding a bunch of accelerators and controllers inside the SoC so that you're not using the same one for compression and decompression. And there's a slide, and I'll put it up now if I can, that the creator in the video I linked talks about being very important, that you're going to get information much faster from the PS5 SSD. And if you want to talk about a power differential, we're talking about twice the speed. We're talking about 4.5 gigabytes per second on the Xbox One Series X SSD and 9 gigabytes per second on the PS5 SSD. I think I have those numbers correct. That's 100% power differential, not a 50%. And that matters. And this is my simple example. Oh, I'm going to have to edit that. I'm trying to find a natural way of talking about this. So let's put it this way. If you need to get your oil change in your car, I'll go back to a car example. If you need to get your oil change in your car, and you can only do it on your 30-minute lunch break. So you go to a shop that you know can change oil in 15 minutes. But you have to wait 10 minutes to get your car in the shop and 10 minutes to get the car back out of the shop. Well, you're looking at 35 minutes to get your oil changed. Well, what if you knew of another shop that took 20 minutes to get your car in the shop? Or, I'm sorry, 20 minutes to change your oil. So 5 minutes longer to change your oil, to do the task you need done. But it only takes 5 minutes to get your car in and 5 minutes to get your car out. In other words, it only takes 30 minutes overall to change your oil. There's an input and an output. The car has to go in the shop and then come back out. That's your input-output. So even though it takes longer for them to change oil, 5 minutes longer to do the oil change, it still takes 5 minutes less time overall to complete the entire task because of the input and the output. And so Xbox might have that 17% power difference on the raw compute, but it has a 50 or 100% power difference between input output. Sony's got a winner on their hands, whether you like it or not. And you know what? My next video is going to be about games. I am tired of people saying, why can't you ask for both? When Sony fanboys are like, yeah, well, cool that you have all that power, Xbox, but do you have any games? Xbox fanboys are like, why can't you have both? Well, you guys don't have both. I'm sorry. Sunset Overdrive was a better open world game than Crackdown 3. And you're not getting a second one, because Insomniac got bought by Sony. The Gears games haven't been fantastic. They've been okay. Halo 5 was meh. I mean, I don't know what to tell you guys, but your sure thing games are kind of gone. Now, I'm not saying Sony's going to have a whole bunch of sure thing titles, but they have a great bunch of developers over there, and we're going to see a lot of great things come from the PS5. And games matter. And when you go to the store and you see both of them advertise native 4K, and that's it, because average consumers don't care about frame rates. They don't understand it. And they're going to say, the average consumer is going to say, they both do 4K, they both do Ultra HD. Why do I care about the one over there that's more powerful if I see the games I play on that one over there? And that's what it's going to come down to. It's going to come down to the games on the shelf. And you can sit there and talk about your power all day long, but this power gap is almost non-existent. It's almost non-existent. It's so minuscule in comparison to last generation, and power didn't win the Xbox One X anything. The PS4 still sold better. So anyway, that's my rant about the power gap. I'm tired of hearing it. I really am. Ooh, it's more powerful. Yeah, okay, fanboys. You keep fanboying, but me, I'm probably gonna buy both, like I did this past generation. And whichever one I like better, whichever one has the games I like better, I'll keep, and I'll get rid of the other one. This generation, that was 100% my Xbox that I got rid of, and my PS4 Pro that I kept. 100%. PS4 Pro sitting right there. Anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm sorry I stare at my monitor a lot. I gotta get the lighting better. I hope this all gets better soon, but I'll definitely see you guys in the next one. Please like and subscribe. Share my videos. Please share my videos. I want to talk more about games, and I need subscribers and viewers, so I'm gonna try to put out 2 to 3 videos a week right now. That's the best I can do, and I really would like to put out one every weekday, but I don't see that happening right now. But thank you for watching if you're watching. Thank you for subscribing if you subscribed. Thank you for liking if you're liking my content. All feedback is welcome. Yes, my camera sucks. I hope my audio is okay. It's the only thing I think is right. Hopefully my personality is coming across okay. I'm a forward guy sometimes, and I make fun of fanboys. But hopefully we get some fun content soon. Anyway, I appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.